with what actually happened?
Well, I thought obviously in one way it would be, our first win would hit us pretty hard, but I also thought, obviously there's the fresh advantage, right? You haven't done anything but got off your feet and were able to get back at it. We were able to do that without anybody playing more than 28 minutes, which was good. You saw in the first half, we were playing basically two groups because we wanted to make sure we didn't overdo anybody's minutes. I thought when they cut it to 2 in the first and that group off the bench pushed it back out to 8, and then when they cut it to 4 in the third and when we pushed it back to 16, those were good responses. And for the most part, we played with the emphases from the week that we tried to create, over Zoom and in our one practice.
Mark Murphy.
Hi, Brad. You started with Grant and Tristan in your starting lineup and played them a little bit tonight. I mean, what did you like out of that combination, and what are you looking for there?
We're just trying to match up with Orlando and play it game by game. One of the reasons why we started the way we started in the first 10 games was because we know we might need to go to that at some point in games like tonight when they go with Birch Vucevic off the bench together. And then also we started it because we wanted to get Rob as much time as we could. So between those two things, obviously no Rob, Tristan and Tice both on, we tried to keep them both around 20 to 24 just because of the inactivity of the week. We couldn't start them. So it made sense not to. It made sense to bring one guy off the bench. And that'll just continue. I've told both those guys that, they're both really good players. They both help us in a ton of ways. Sometimes they might start, sometimes they might come off, but the minutes will probably be pretty similar to the way they were tonight with shared between them.
Gary Washburn.
Hey, Brad. How did it feel just to be in a game situation, kind of the minds off of COVID and getting a bunch of waiting for test results and Zoom calls, just to the game in front of you? I mean, how enjoyable was that for you, for the team, just to kind of be back together?
It's good. It's great to gather. It's great to be together, Gary. You were down in the bubble. That was one of the great benefits of the bubble that we talked about. We're still going to be in this, test all the time and be on weird hours and be ready to hit curveballs. And so any chance we get to be in the gym together, whether it's practice or the game, I think that's the right mindset, is to enjoy it. Don't sweat the small stuff and just, and kind of enjoy this unique journey we're on.
Matt Vitor.
Brad, with Jay and Allen missing the bench, what kind of logistical things do you guys have to juggle just to manage things the same way you normally would?
Those guys, it was Jay's scout, but Jay did all the legwork on the, and so we were able to cover him for that. Guys step in and help with their individual workouts and everything else. But we've got a big staff. We've got a great staff. We don't want to have anybody missing or out. But those guys are still adding as much value as possible while they're out. I mean, those guys are on Zoom calls with us all the time. They're on Zoom calls with their individuals. I'm sure Jay has rewound Taco's jump shot 58 times already and watched it with great joy since they worked together, and he spent a lot of time in the gym with him. So I'm sure they both missed being here, and they'll be back with us soon.
Last couple of questions for Coach. We'll go to Dan Roche.
Hey, Brad, how much did you appreciate the passing tonight? It seemed like there was a lot of good, crisp passing. And if you could just take us through that moment as a team, as a group, for what you guys have been through, the bench reaction to Taco's, what looked like it could have been a 3, was just looked like one of those great team moments.
Yeah, again, I think that, everybody loves, what he brings to the table as far as a teammate, as a worker, as a guy. He spends a lot of time on his skill. I think they were more excited about the ball handling at the top of the key and then the drive. But that's a good thing. And being back in the gym and being together and smiling is a good thing. And we're not full. We've got 5 guys that weren't at the game tonight. Basically, they've said if you're not playing, there's no need to come. So even Kimba was told not to come tonight. But it'll be more fun when we're full. But that was a good moment for Taco.
All right, we're going to wrap it up right there. Thanks, Coach.
England Ford dealers. I am Abby Chin alongside Chris Forsberg. The Celtics, despite COVID, being shorthanded without their leading scorer, roll on. They get their 5th straight win, 124-97 the final over the Orlando Magic. Chris, it was a balanced game as well. I mean, the Celtics almost even scoring from the starters to the bench.
First off, love Taco. Like, everyone's like, oh, take another 3, pump fakes him, still drives it, gets the dunk. That was super fun to see the bench spilling out onto the floor. The bench deserves a lot of credit because they gave this team a little bit of a boost here. Jalen Brown obviously stepping up into the focal point, getting a career-high 8 assists. I thought they got a lot of good contributions from everyone, including the bench. Again, they hit a little bit of a lull early there, but then they took it to another level.
You got a chance to talk to Jalen after the game. He got a little too excited about Taco, so we're working on that. We will bring it to you as soon as it's ready. But you mentioned it, Jalen really carrying the load for the Celtics without his dynamic duo partner in Jason Tatum out. He did a little bit of everything.
He was great. Again, we all wondered what he would do as the focal point. It's easy when Kemba's out there, when JT is there, because it takes some of the pressure off of you when you get more open looks. The Magic were game planning for nothing but Jalen Brown today. He didn't even know if he was going to play for 4 hours before this game, and yet he goes out there and has the impact that he has. Again, you'll hear as he says coming up, his usage rate is up, but there's no denying it. His passing and vision has gotten so much better the last 2 seasons. He's picking the spots to make his shots. He can back off, drive, attack, pull up, whatever it has to be. But the ability to spray it around to other teammates and create good looks for that is just the next step in Jalen Brown's maturation.
And you talk about usage rate, and there's no question Jalen has the ball in his hands more this season than he ever has. But there certainly is a growth that we've seen
100%.
from him. I don't know what he would have looked like with the ball in his hands this much, in past seasons.
I say this every episode, but the offseason was 2 weeks long. There's no reason Jalen Brown should have been able to improve as a basketball player in the 12 days that the Celtics had off between the bubble and now, and yet he did. And this is why you'd never even consider throwing him in a James Harden trade, because he just keeps showing this development, and he's still only 24 years old, and he's still going to only get better, and it's fascinating to watch his ability to keep going to another level.
Here are the assist numbers for Jalen. As we have said, tied a career-high 8 of them, and he had 6 in the first half, so he certainly came out a man on a mission. But it's the way he's seeing the floor. It really feels like the game's slowing down for him, and there was a lot placed on him going into this game without Jason Tatum, and Jalen maintained his poise, continued to do what we've seen him do